Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, we have Kalen finally available over here on the test server to take a look at. He will be out on the global server in about 2 days. We're going to take a look at his skills, give you my thoughts. In general, I'm still thinking I'm going to skip him unless some of the numbers here look insane or some of the results look absolutely crazy from him. I think I'm going to save, but I guess it is a good thing that we are getting another A-level Graveborn. It's just strange that we're getting them back to back, but Graveborns were in desperate need of another good A-level to put on the wish list, so hopefully he fills in at least that role of the wish list once we get him done, and then we can sort of leave him and Bonnie on the wish list as our A-levels. That would be the ideal situation that happens out of this, but let's go through his skills. So his ultimate, Restless Guardian. When a battle starts, Callan gains a 200% shield and becomes unaffected. While the shield is active, Callan cannot move or act. The shield's value drops by 20% per second, and it can absorb 50% physical and magical damage taken by allies within a 2-tile radius. So they do have to be in that radius that we've seen on the trailer thing. Callan enters the battle when the shield expires. So the shield's value drops by 20% per second. Now, is that 20% of current value or 20% of max value, meaning it only lasts for 5 seconds? That's what I'm not too sure about. I have to get my hands on him. Now, I think they are setting up the Pioneer server, which means once that's set up, we can test a lot of this stuff a lot better for you guys. Active. Callan maintains the shield for up to 10 seconds. Okay. He maintains. Wouldn't he generate it because he wouldn't have had it? Anyway, active. Callan maintains the shield for up to 10 seconds, gaining 100% shield and becomes unaffected. During this time, the shield absorbs 50% physical or magical damage taken by allies within 2-tile radius. Okay, so it's sharing damage. That's pretty much it. Pretty much what we saw in the trailer. He goes into basically tower mode and protects allies nearby and gets the shield. The one thing I'm not 100% sure on reading this is the depletion of the shield and how that exactly works. But let's keep going on. Flail Slam. It's got a 12-second cooldown. It's only got an initial of 1. Okay, I believe that's different because I believe we saw on the trailer thing it was like a 5-second. This is a much larger cooldown. Callan, and especially when you come out of his his initial ult at the start of the battle, we'll call it, then he'll use this straight away. Then it might be like, up to 12 seconds. He might use it again. Then he might get like, 8 seconds in, doesn't use it, then ults, then loses another 10 seconds. So I don't think this is going to be reliable. You can't like rely on this for any control. Callan swings his flail to deal 160% damage to an enemy twice. He then slams them on the ground, dealing 150% damage to all enemies in a rectangular area in front of him and knocking them down. Okay, so it's just a knockdown. It doesn't have a stun tied to the knockdown, so it's just like more of a small hit stun. I don't know how long the knockdown is. Maybe it's like a 1-second stun. Next up, Eternal Watch. Callan converts 25% of the damage absorbed by his shield into Golem's Might during battle. Active. Callan unleashes the stored Golem's Might to deal an equal amount of damage to the enemies within a 2-tile radius. This skill can only be used when the amount of stored Golem's Might exceeds 350% of attack. Each cast consumes up to 600% attack of the stored might, with any excess reserved for the next cast. So it does have a cap on damage, but essentially it just hits them in that area while the shield. Now I'm assuming because it's like the shield has to reach that limit, so this is only going to be cast while he's in his ult form, which is his shield form or his start of battle ult form. So that is the way I'm understanding it, because the shield has to absorb that much. So he's not going to be outside of his ult form and cast this, because then his stat shield is not going to be absorbing. Unless the one thing is that maybe other shields can add to this. So if you have someone else shielding him and then he reaches that amount, does he then use it outside of his ult form? I don't think so, but it could be a thing. Callan unleashes a stored value. The damage absorbed by, it's by his shield. So yeah, I'm assuming it is just going to be his shield and no one else's shield. It's just strange that they, in the trailer, they said, synergies and it was like Lucius. So I thought maybe that was like the thing, but based on my interpretation, it doesn't. Let's go into the next one, which is the hero focus. Increases his vitality by 11. Cool beans. Then we have his exclusive equipment. When Callan or any non-summoned ally's HP falls below 30%, he lets out a wrathful howl. Dude, that's 2 words hard to say together. Wrathful howl. I don't know why I struggled so much. Dealing 50% damage per enemy to all enemies up to 8 times and stunning them for 0.5 seconds. Wait. Dealing 50% of attack damage per enemy to all enemies up to 8 times. So if we got 5 enemies, I don't know how the multiplication of this is working. 50% damage per enemy to all enemies. So if there's 5 enemies, it's dealing 250% damage to all of them. That is the way I am interpreting this. I'm not the greatest at punctuation and stuff like that, so maybe my interpretation is wrong. But to me, it sounds like that, like if there's 5 enemies on board, it's 50% of attack damage per enemy, which 5 enemies times 50 is 250. And then it's to all enemies, so it's 250 to all enemies 8 times and stunning them for 0.5 seconds. Now, I'm curious how quick that 5 times is, because maybe if it's a hit stun on each one, maybe you get like 3 or 4 seconds worth of stun out of that. So that is a very curious thing. The multiplier does sound quite large, but once again, my main concern is like it has to be massive, massive damage, which the multiplier of it is that does sound pretty big. But I'm not sure if it's going to function like that. And once again, it has to be insane damage for him to have lost an ability to tank more or support more to deal damage. So it has to be massive for me to actually like the ability. While casting this skill, Callan becomes unaffected. This skill can be used once per battle. And that's what makes me think that maybe this is 250% damage 8 times. Because it's only once per battle. So you'd want this to be giving you a shitload of value considering it's only that long, and increases stun duration to 2 seconds. And if that stun's like a pulsing thing, maybe surely the stuns wouldn't stack. So that's something I got to test. But like I said, I'm not going to summon for him. Maybe we'll grab 1 copy in a sec. But I don't think that's... Yeah, I'm not going to go all in on him. I don't have the resources on the test server. Once again, hopefully we do get the Pioneer server to test this. But I'm very curious to see if this is like sometimes in games you get characters that just end up massive nuking everything and you didn't expect it. I'm thinking this could be decent, but once again, I'm holding my expectations. Then we have his Enhanced Force. When gaining a shield, Callan recovers HP equal to 15% of the shield's max value. Okay, so this is where it makes sense when they said, it pairs well with Lucius' example. They're just basing it on this. When he gaining a shield, because it doesn't just say his shield, so when he gains any shield, he gets a heal on top of that. Don't know how vital that's going to be, but that is a quick look at his skills. Now, I don't know how many summons I have over here on the test server, but, we can pop one just so we can see what his charms look like. Yeah, listen, we probably ain't going to get him. We'll have a quick try. If not, we'll come back in a later video and look at his charms. It's not the most important thing. Once again, I think he's a fairly safe wait and see character at this stage. But let's see if we can get a copy just so we can check out his... Yeah, no, we're done. Yeah, no, we're done. I can't do a 10. Yep, that's us. Unfortunately, we're absolutely strapped over here on the test server, so we can't check his whatchamacallums, his charms at this stage. But hey, that is a look at Callan. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, hopefully that Pioneer server comes up so we can do some proper testing and check him out. But at this stage, I'm very tentative and hoping his damage, not hoping, just for him to be something that would be worth my while on my main account, which still has a bunch of summons. His damage would have to be huge because yes, he has his ultimate protection, but if you're sacrificing 2 abilities worth of, basically 3 abilities worth of, defensive / supportive capabilities and putting it all into damage, then I'd want it to be decent, but we got to wait and see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.